So how was that?
That was good.
That was
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, I loved it. All right. So how do you communicate? What do you think you are?
I was debating that earlier because part of me is like, I don't feel like I maybe fall into any of the three categories. I am not a careful wordsmith when I talk, which sometimes gets me into trouble. And I'm not a storyteller necessarily. And when I am training or speaking, I can be visual, but that's not like my normal everyday mode. So I'm still thinking about where I fall. I welcome
Okay.
feedback from any of you who know me.
Question, as she's talking, what do you think?
Well, as she's talking, and also because I've heard her speak before, I would say that she is a wordsmith. That's funny that you don't see yourself that way, but your words are naturally on point, well thought out. It comes across that way. So maybe you're so naturally used to going through that process. But so I would say
And it
that.
is lower energy. So yeah, and I probably do want people to listen to me. So I can see some of that. I think I find when I communicate in writing, that's not as easy for me. I labor over the words. And so I was thinking that it's a more natural thing when with your auditory, but I can see that when you're saying that verbally.
Yeah, and it is really a verbal communication thing that we're talking about. We're talking about communicating that way, not necessarily that you are a wordsmith with the written word, as well as somebody else. But I think the focus and the rhythmic there, and yet at the same time, I have seen you speak quickly and loudly, and it doesn't mean that you have to be doing this thing. Actually, the higher energy is a relatively newer thing, and now my coach says, hey, I represent two things, energy and fun. So then my I'm moving, and I think it's a spectrum on that too. Okay, so I think and we go up and down because other people go up and down, right? When somebody, but this is another thing to think about here in closing here. I want to find out what other people are, but it doesn't, what does somebody who has high energy think when somebody doesn't have high energy? What do they think about that person? I think something's wrong. And there might not be anything wrong. I think about times when I thought something was wrong too, because the energy was down. And I remember even in 8th grade, somebody saying, oh, Mary, what's wrong with you? And I thought, did something happen or whatever? And nothing had happened. I was just lower energy because I can really play out in that lower energy state, which drives people crazy, but I can. So, okay. So I think it's a spectrum. So you could be, I think it's a spectrum, and some people can move up and down that spectrum, right? The idea though is it doesn't really matter what we can do. Can we mirror somebody else because we value that person that much? Okay. So remember
good.
that when you're talking to me. So, all right. To make the person feel seen, heard, and as Summer said, acknowledged or understood when you mirror that. According to my sources, it's the fastest way to build rapport. Fastest way. Okay, Summer, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I need to give more thought to it because I think, I don't know. I don't know which one I am.
Right, you're gonna be evaluating the people around you. Okay, Leah.
No, I'm an analyst also. So,
all right, Anita, what do you think as far as a communicator?
I really am in all three camps, depending on the circumstances. I can think of throughout the day, I can be in all three. Who am I talking to? What is the purpose of my conversation? And I move through those realms. When I'm leading classes and teaching. I'm up here, and I'm very, so as a teacher or a leader of a class, I'm definitely more kinesthetic, more high energy. And then just in one-on-one conversation, but I do match. That was my story with Leah. I walking alongside someone that is high energy and has experienced transformation. And so when she sees me, she's excited to share about that transformation. And sometimes I'm just in a work mode, right? And I'm getting things done. But when she comes into my presence, I've got to meet her there, because she's so excited about life and the transformation she's experienced. And I've got to go there and celebrate with her. And then we have a conversation. So
that's great. Yes. I think that that's what it's about, really, again, connecting. And I think also because all of us were in a place before where we were teaching and training, that we know that we can go up here because we know whisper gets attention, right? And a more methodical, right? So we use our voice inflections, but it's really about the state, not just the communication. Where, is that person, when they're communicating like that.